They say peace comes when you finally find a place that feels like home. For me, that moment came the day I drove up the winding hill and saw it, a little brick house tucked between maple trees, golden sunlight pouring through the branches like a scene out of a dream. It wasn't big, it wasn't fancy, but it was mine. After years of renting cramped apartments, fighting rising rents, and surviving a painful divorce, I'd saved enough to finally buy a house. No shared walls, no noisy upstairs neighbors, just me, a rescued golden retriever named Buddy, and the quiet. There was only one reason the house was affordable: it sat just outside the local HOA boundary. The neighborhood next door, Maple Ridge Estates, was ruled by one of the most notorious HOAs in the state. Strict lawn color codes, mailbox inspections, even approved curtain colors. I'd heard the horror stories online and thanked my lucky stars my little red brick escape sat on the other side of the invisible line. But what I didn't know was that peace had a name. And her name was Karen. The first time I saw her, she was standing across the property line in a wide-brimmed hat, clutching a clipboard like it was a weapon. I waved politely. She didn't wave back. Instead, she walked right up to the edge of my driveway and said, "Excuse me, this property doesn't comply with community standards." I blinked. "Ma'am, I'm not in your community." Her lips tightened. "Everything within a half-mile radius falls under the Maple Ridge visual zone. We like to maintain consistency." I tried to be polite, I really did. "I appreciate that, but this isn't part of the HOA. I bought outside of it on purpose." Her nostrils flared. "That's unacceptable." From that day on, it was like living next to a storm. Every morning, I'd find her pacing the property line, snapping pictures of my mailbox, my trash cans, even Buddy. Once, she left a note taped to my door. "Your house disrupts the aesthetic harmony of Maple Ridge. Please repaint immediately." Another time, she called animal control claiming Buddy was a danger to the neighborhood. They came, took one look at my old golden boy sleeping in the grass, and left shaking their heads. Still, Karen didn't stop. She called the county to inspect my fencing. She reported my grass for being too long even though it was trimmed perfectly. When that didn't work, she started spreading rumors to the Maple Ridge neighbors that I was illegally occupying the property, that I forged ownership papers, that I was squatting. At first, I laughed it off. People like her just needed control, and when they couldn't have it, they created chaos. But the day she crossed the property line changed everything. Chapter 2: The Trespass and the Truth. It was a cool Sunday morning. I just made coffee, music humming low, Buddy snoozing by my feet. I was finally starting to feel home settle into my bones. Then bang! 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 I jumped. The sound came from the front door. Before I could even reach it, I heard her voice, sharp, shrill, echoing through the house like feedback from a bad microphone. "You don't belong here. This property is under Maple Ridge management." I opened the door to see Karen standing inside my gate, clipboard in hand, red-faced and shaking. "Karen," I said, keeping my voice calm. "You're trespassing." "No, you're trespassing," she screamed. "This house belongs to the HOA. We've decided to reclaim it." I stared, half in disbelief. "You can't just reclaim property that isn't yours. I bought this house legally. I have the deed." Her voice cracked. "I've been living here for 22 years. You people come in and ruin everything. You don't follow the rules, you paint what you want, you plant what you want, you destroy what we built." For the first time, she didn't sound angry. She sounded desperate. Then she stepped forward and did something I'll never forget. She threw her clipboard on the porch and yelled, "If you won't leave, then I'll move in." Before I could stop her, she tried to push past me, actually tried to enter my house. Buddy barked, startled. I blocked the doorway, my hands trembling. "Karen, you need to leave now." She glared, eyes wild, tears welling. "I am the HOA," she screamed. "Everything here is mine." I called the police. When they arrived, she was still shouting from the porch, accusing me of stealing her home. The officers gently but firmly led her away, assuring me they'd handle it. One of them, an older cop, sighed and said, "You're not the first. That lady's been at war with reality since her husband passed. She treats that HOA like it's all she has left." For a moment, I just stood there, heart pounding, watching her car disappear down the road. Then I looked at my house, the chipped paint, the overgrown ivy, the soft sunlight catching the windows, and I realized something. Karen wasn't fighting me. She was fighting change. To her, the HOA wasn't just rules, it was a world where she still had control, still had purpose. Losing that meant losing herself. Over the next few weeks, I fixed the damage she'd caused, the trampled flowers, the broken gate. I even planted a few new trees between our yards, not as a wall, but as peace. Months passed. The noise stopped. The quiet returned. One afternoon, I saw her walking by, slower now, without her clipboard. She didn't yell this time. She just looked over, gave a small nod, and kept walking. Maybe that was her way of saying sorry. Maybe it was just peace, in her own way. As the sun set behind the maple trees, I took a deep breath and smiled. Because sometimes, peace isn't about winning battles, it's about understanding the ones we didn't know others were fighting. And as I watched Buddy chase fireflies in the fading light, I realized I hadn't just bought a house. I'd found home.